Hey everyone, Steve here with Muse Themes. We have a fantastic new widget ready called the Snap Scroll widget. And what this does is it allows you to enable a snapping behavior when a user scrolls down on a single page website, or specifically a website that uses anchors. So for example, here on our platform template, this is a single page site where you would click one of the navigation items and it would kind of shoot you down the page to hit an anchor point. This is the services anchor point or the project's anchor point. So you may notice though, if you don't use the navigation buttons and you just scroll, that you could potentially scroll and stop at kind of an odd place. Like say you stopped here. So you're not really looking at anything. It's kind of a weird section of the site. So if you're building these long single page sites, you really want to be able to control where users are starting and stopping, especially if they're scrolling. That's where our Snap Scroll widget comes in. So as you can see here, we have the same site. However, I have used the Snap Scroll widget on this site. And as you'll see, as I start to scroll down, the site automatically scrolls and stops at the next anchor point. So I'm actually only scrolling a couple small turns of the mouse wheel and it takes care of the rest. Now, the other thing you'll notice about this is that it has a really nice easing style to it. So what easing is the way that the motion happens. It doesn't happen in a linear path or just the same speed the whole way. Easing means it kind of slowly starts and then it speeds up and then it slows down again. A little bit more realistic on how things would actually move in real life. So as you can see, with just a couple flicks of the mouse wheel or scroll wheel, I am moving to the perfect spots on this page. So the Snap Scroll widget is a really powerful tool to use, and we have a fantastic new template coming up that's going to use it as well. So let me show you how this works in Muse. Let's go back to Muse, and I have the platform template open here. Now this widget isn't huge in terms of panel size, so let's just scroll down to number 45, Snap Scroll, and drag it out on the page. Okay, so once we do that, we have this small icon that appears here on the side, and we can just drag this off of the page. You don't need to have it actually on top of your site. And if we look at the flyout panel here, you'll see what we have for options. We basically have three settings. We have the transition time, which means the amount of time that it's going to take to scroll from one point to another. Then we have the delay after each scroll. And what this does, it's not something you're going to notice very much, but what this does is it allows you to set a little bit of a delay time where a user can't necessarily scroll right away. So what this prevents is the user from quickly scrolling through all of the anchor points without even realizing that they're stopping on each of them. And then the last thing that we have is the easing style. And you'll notice that this is a really substantial drop-down menu here with lots of different easing styles. Now the names they're not always intuitive in terms of ease out court. So what does that mean? Well, easing effects on the web are really popular. So there is this guide on the web if you go to easings.net. And what this does is it shows you how all of these easing effects work. And it's really awesome because if you mouse over one of them, this little red arrow beside actually moves up and kind of shows you the path. So you notice on this ease out one, it starts at a consistent kind of fairly quick speed and it slows down at the end. And if you mouse over it, you can see that it kind of gives you that demo. Now, if you pick something like ease in out, you'll see that it kind of slowly starts, then quick in the middle, and then slows down again. So this is a great site for you to go ahead and have a look at what all of these different easing effects do. For now, I'll just leave it on the default easing. So this widget doesn't even require very much setup. I've got a page with anchor points on it. I drag the widget out on the page, and that's it. We can just adjust the timings if you want. Let's make this really slow so it's quite dramatic. We'll go 1500, which is basically 1.5 seconds. I'll leave the delay set like that, and let's just preview it in the browser. Okay, so now when we scroll, you can see it scrolls down to the next anchor, and this is quite slow. You might want to leave it set a little bit higher, but you can see that it is doing its job. So one thing that's important to note with this widget is you need to make sure to place an anchor at the very top of your page. I'll zoom in a bit here, but we need this top anchor for you to kind of measure on. And now if you're doing a single page website, there's a good chance you have a home or return to top button, so you're going to have an anchor there anyway. However, just remember, if for some reason you don't have that, just place a simple anchor at the top so the widget can kind of measure from that area. So that's how the Snap Scrolling widget works. I think it's a fantastic addition to our library, and it adds a really stylish effect to these single page sites, which are really popular these days. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know, and thanks again for watching. Cheers.